As for Jordan Love, the Packers quarterback who's missed the last 2 weeks due to a knee injury, he was limited in practice today. But anybody who saw Jordan Love warm up before Sunday's game against Tennessee knows that he is tracking to play Sunday against the division rival Minnesota Vikings. Malik Willis stepped in and did exactly what he needed to do, what he had to do, and he led the Packers to 2 straight wins. But Jordan Love is healthier. He is on the timeline to return. We'll see if he can make it back in time for Sunday, but that would be a big boost to the Packers offense getting Love back on Sunday.
Yeah, credit to Malik Willis for sure. Adam, here's Jordan Love from moments ago.
Yeah, I think every day I was pushing myself a little bit harder, and at the end of the day, it's all feel things. Feeling my body, feeling if I'm pushing too much, and my body's kind of just listen to my body talking to me. And the workout pregame Sunday, I felt like I was moving around pretty well, and my body was responding well to it.
So whoever is at quarterback for the Packers will face a Vikings defense that has at least 5 sacks and 2 takeaways in each of their first 3 games of the season. That's tied with the 1970 Rams for the longest streak to begin a season since team sacks became official in 1963. It's like, welcome back, Jordan Love. Here you go. Yeah. You got to face this Vikings defense if he's able to play. Dan, you think the Packers need Love, though, against this Vikings D?
Yes, to win, but it's not because I would say it this way. You got to beat Matt LaFleur more than you got to beat Jordan Love right now. LaFleur's been fantastic. A lot of times the saying in football is like, man, they use their run to set up the pass. And I would say LaFleur's kind of the opposite. It's like he uses the pass to set up the run. And, for Minnesota, I've always said this year at least, like you better be good on first down playing against that defense. Because if you're not, then the blitz package comes. So I think the way that LaFleur is using the old school run techniques and so much for Minnesota's defense to look at, because as much as Minnesota's defense forces you to communicate, you have to communicate just as much when it comes to all their motions and all their formations. So I think that's going to be a big challenge. Early on in the game, they got into 4 strong and ran a fake toss and hit a quick play action. Then they get into that same 4 strong formation and it's toss. So as a defense, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to hesitate because last time I saw that formation, it's play action. There's that 4 strong, but with motion, and they hand it off to a wide receiver in Jaden Reed. They're going to make Minnesota communicate as much as Minnesota makes them.
I love that. And to your point, you mentioned as much as Minnesota's going to make them. And Matt LaFleur, and I think that's the challenge that Flores and his defense brings, because once the 15-second shot clock goes up and the quarterback can no longer communicate with the offensive coordinator and LaFleur, that's when Flores gives you all the looks. So we've seen it. We talked about it last week, the pre-snap movement. To your point, they're going to have to communicate because LaFleur's drawing up this offense, and like you just showed that first play of the game, fakes the toss and comes back.
Right.
When Malik Willis or Jordan Love, when they're under center, they have no idea who's dropping back into that window to be able to hit that crossing route. And I think that's the challenge. Jordan Love, an experienced guy, Malik Willis still gaining that experience every week within this offense.
It's going to be like
challenging if he's out there.
It's going to be what unit makes the other one play with more confusion.
Yes.
Because they both, that's at the foundation of both of them.
Yeah, and I actually think the pressure is going to be on Flores.
Yeah.
I pulled up the tape from a year ago when Love was out there, and this is why Love being out there is important. I think this will be a very tall and daunting task for Malik Willis. But Jordan Love in that second game against the Vikings, they blitzed him 25 times, Flores did. He was 70% on those. They used pre-snap motion as identifiers. They made him show his hand. And Jordan Love was so decisive this entire game. It's like he knew exactly where the pressure was coming from. Now, obviously, it will be a different a different group. They'll have a different set of plays. They'll understand that things are going to be changed up a little bit. But Jordan Love being out there and having the confidence to know that he has the answers to the test, even when they didn't use pre-snap motion, to watch how decisive he was in using the flat routes, getting it to his running backs, it really put the Vikings on their heels and made it easy for
I think that's the way. I would also say Green Bay's become the best screen game in football. It was Kansas City. It's now become them. Question, when it comes to all that pre-snap motion, I know that defense that Flores runs, if the Packers are going to show all that pre-snap motion, like what's the outside of the communication, will they have calls that will counter it on the fly?
The challenge for them is we looked at last week and we said, all right, this guy ended up playing in the flat in this position. When you have guys that play multiple roles, it used to happen to Patrick Chung a lot.
You don't have a ton of tells.
Yes, and now you're in a certain role and motion happens. And on this side of the ball, I might have been a half-field defender. Well, now motion takes me across. So now when I get to this side, there already is a half-field defender. Now I might have become a short dropper or something. Your role changes so much on the motion. I think that's going to be the challenge. But what also comes with that is now you can fool the offense, because now it may look like man and you run with motion and then you drop back into zone coverage. So you can use something as a disadvantage and use it for your success.
It's going to be such a game of chess and strategy. Does the pre-snap motion, does it make you play your hand faster than you want to?
In certain coverages, it absolutely does. Because now if I'm in man-to-man and I was trying to show something, my guy goes, I got to go with him.
But then the counter for us is if you guys don't all get on the same page, I don't need everybody to be wrong. I need one of you guys to be wrong. And then there's a huge play or a missed block or a wrong fit or a
strike the band.
Yeah, that's the Xavier Worthy touchdown.
That's
week
exactly
one
what that was.
You said it well, like which side gets more confused. That's fascinating. By the way, Kevin O'Connell said Jordan Addison will practice today. How much we'll see, but he will be back out there, so something to watch. We now go to Green Bay, and the Packers injured quarterback Jordan Love spoke to the media earlier this hour. Our Packers reporter Rob Demovsky was in the building for it. Rob, what did Love have to say about his availability this weekend against the Vikings?
Yeah, Laura, let's first start with what we saw on the practice field, and that was him moving a lot like we saw him moving in the pre-game workout last week at Tennessee. And then today, when asked how close he was to playing last week, he said, and he said it twice, I was close, I was close. We just got to the end of the week and determined I wasn't there yet. So I asked Love today, can he tell if he's moving better? And he said, definitely. He was very emphatic about the fact that he is able to move better than he was last week. And he said, I feel like I'm getting better every day. Now, there's another aspect to this that's important. Love not only has to be able to handle it physically, but there's the mental aspect that he talked about as well.
Like we talked about the mental aspect of having an injury and trying to overcome it, and, you know, knowing that you're not going to be 100%. But, I mean, that's, like I said before, that's kind of the territory you're in, and with dealing with the injury is just knowing you're not going to be 100%. So definitely not putting any weight on trying to, you know, you got to protect yourself, but not thinking about re-injuring myself or the risk of that. You know, just going out there and playing, and if it happens, it happens.
Here's another thing to keep in mind, Laura. The Vikings lead the NFL with 16 sacks through 3 games this season. So if Love plays, he's going to have to be able to escape that pressure and do that in spite of his injured knee.
Yeah, we talked earlier just about how this is such a game of chess on both sides. Maybe whichever side confuses the other side more, as Dan Orlovsky said, might have the edge in this one. Thanks to Rob Demovsky, the latest on Jordan Love. The Chiefs are mostly healthy, and running back Kareem Hunt joined the active roster this week, so we expect to see him on Sunday. Here's Patrick Mahomes about what's different.
You can tell, first off, this is how hard they play. I mean, everybody on that entire team, they believe, they play extremely hard every single snap. They fly around to the football. You can tell they understand the scheme and what they're doing. And then, I mean, from everything I've heard from Harbaugh, I haven't got to meet him yet, but I heard he's a great coach, a great person. I mean, Alex Smith talked very highly of him whenever he was here, and how organized and how he got the team ready to go every single week. And so, I mean, you've seen that at every stop he's won. And that speaks to him and his mentality and how he coaches his guys.
Hey, Patrick Mahomes has a 48 total QBR this season, which ranks 20th in the NFL. It's the first time in his career that he's posted a QBR under 70 in the Chiefs' first 3 games of the season. Mahomes also has as fewest passing yards and touchdowns in his first 3 games of a season this year. His average pass has traveled just 5 yards downfield. Only Baker Mayfield actually has a shorter air yards per attempt this season. I mean, it's crazy, Dan, that despite all that, the Chiefs are 3-0. Pat hasn't had great numbers. He's admitted that. Yeah, what does Pat need to clean up, though?
Fair to say that there is moments of hesitation or not seeing the field. I mean, there's plays, and specific to Travis, where they're going to throw the ball. Travis is up top. He's got an outbreaker. Safety drops down. I mean, I've seen Patrick throw this ball plenty of times. He's looking there. He just doesn't throw the football to the spot, to the sideline, and all of a sudden it's incompletion. Rashee Rice in the slot at the bottom of the screen. This is catch and throw football. I've seen Patrick throw this a bunch. The safeties are deep, too high shell. Patrick's looking right there. For some reason, there's a hesitation to not throw the football later on in the game. This is why stick, bottom of the screen, Travis Kelce running the out. Patrick's looking right at him, and for some reason, just doesn't throw the football. And I don't know if there's not seeing it totally clearly. I don't know if there's a hesitation to not cut it loose versus certain players defending Travis Kelce. But there is that is happening. He played in the preseason, so it's not like, hey, I do think he cleans this stuff up often. I remember a couple years ago his feet were really poor.
Yeah.
I'm not overreacting, but I do think that there's stuff on tape that has to be improved on.
What I see from the Chiefs offense, and specifically Patrick Mahomes and the Kelce connection, it looks sped up. And there's like a couple of factors that like here's a play where there's 2 third downs I want to point at. Kelce's in the slot here. That this play comes open, but by the time Patrick Mahomes is ready to throw it, Kelce is not there. Kelce runs like these paced routes because he's a veteran and he's looking for holes. He's getting open. It's just taking a little longer than they anticipate. And when you go look at the numbers of average time to throw, the Chiefs are at 2.64, which is the fastest
Do you think
in Mahomes' career.
You think it's the left tackle?
That could be it. Because, look, last year was 2.94. The year before was 2.89. And you also have Kelce. Again, this pace that Kelce plays with, he's always played with it. But now he's 35, right? So we've all been 35, and there's going to be a slower pace naturally. You couple that with the fact that the process now has to be faster for Patrick Mahomes. That's where you get the out of sync on third down and beyond.
Kelce was on tour this summer too, following around. You never know.
Going with that.
To your point, he had Kelce in the red zone once, same type of route, going out, coming back in, not waiting for it. Also look at something Justin Simmons said. He got that interception, and after he said, playing against him, is there something about him? He said, we always knew he's going to give you an opportunity. Now, don't get me wrong. Patrick Mahomes, he'll beat you 800 different ways. He's terrific as a quarterback. But even when I was in the league, when we played against him, we would always say there's going to be 1, maybe 2 opportunities where he's going to throw you the ball. You have to make your play because that's the only chance you're going to get. And the interceptions, he's thrown 4 so far this season. 1 was interception by Cam Taylor-Britt, amazing play, nothing to do. The other 3 were bad plays by him, throwing the ball directly to the defense and guys making plays with it.
Man, you got to come down with it, though.
I don't think it's a big deal. I really don't. I think this team is just going to slowly clean itself up offensively.
Look at last year.
Every year for the
Make a lot of people mad when they end up winning the Super Bowl after some of these early mistakes.